Tonight on Q2, a strain on SNAP.
We will make sure that everybody who comes in has their needs met.
Long lines wrap around a Billings nonprofit as SNAP benefits remain in limbo. Some residents struggling to put food on the table. Plus, tackling a crisis.
It doesn't matter who you are, where you came from. If you're struggling with addiction, there's help out there, and we are here for you.
Addiction on the rise in Montana. Treatment centers hope to help those in need before it's too late. And pushing out the pennies.
It's easier to carry plastic around than a pocket full of change.
Businesses are moving away from the copper coins. We'll tell you why and what it could mean for consumers. The MTN 530 News starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening, and thanks for starting your week with us. I'm Andrea Lutz. Tonight, help may be on the way for some 40 million Americans and 80,000 Montanans seeking those SNAP benefits. But it's not immediate. The Trump administration says it will tap a contingency fund to partially cover SNAP benefits this month after two federal rulings. The USDA plans to spend $4.6 billion. But it could take weeks or even months before we see those partial payments. Well, tonight, the future uncertain, and there's a growing strain for Montanans who count on those SNAP benefits. In Billings, it's leaving many turning to local food banks for help, with family service seeing longer lines. MTN's Will Wagner has the story on how the community is stepping up to meet the needs.
When the SNAP benefits runs out, I can't afford it. It's really hard. So I have to go to food banks and all that stuff.
Getting food is getting serious for many, and the crowds are growing at local food banks. While partial SNAP funding has been approved, that's not going to fix today's need.
There's a lot more people here now because, you know, the shutdown and people that don't have food stamps now, they have to go here to get it. And it's really hard to, get food because of this, because so many people are coming that, usually don't come here because they had food stamps or they have money to get other stuff.
Family Service and Billings say they're working hard to supply the community with all the stuff they need.
We will make sure that everybody who comes in has their needs met. We expect to see an increase, but the community has been so giving. We've had multiple donations come in today, totaling over 1,000 pounds in food donations. We've got barrels all over the community.
Having options for those both receiving and giving could be what makes all the difference in keeping people fed.
About 30 different communities are doing food drives. So the community is absolutely meeting the need, and we'll continue to do that for everybody who comes through.
People like Simi Audette have sourced several small donations from her neighbors and congregation to help meet the need.
Our church, St. Luke's Episcopal Church, is one church that wanted to donate, and then I just felt inspired, I guess, to go around the neighborhood and also collect food out in Briarwood.
It's this coming together that could keep the fear away.
People need to help the poor people or elderly people that can't afford, don't have a lot of money.
In Billings, Will Wagner, MTN News.
Tonight, a big development out of eastern Montana. Custer County is making a push to bring the state's new forensic mental health facility to the area. The county confirms the facility could be built on 500 acres of state land behind Pine Hills Correctional Facility. And officials say the location already has sewer, water, and a trained correctional workforce ready to go. A survey on the county's website shows strong support, with about 80% of respondents backing that plan for a 32-bed facility near Miles City. Montana continues to face a growing addiction crisis impacting communities large and small. And Governor Greg Gianforte calls it one of the state's biggest challenges as overdose deaths continue to rise. Tonight, our Hannah Pettiferi looks at the numbers of a new report where Montana ranks dangerously high.
A chronic disease is how behavioral health officer Malcolm Horn describes addiction.
We understand now addiction fundamentally changes areas of the brain that help us with learning, problem solving, memory.
And she says there's two main reasons for Montana being high at risk.
We don't have very good behavioral health care systems.
The second, help is often few and far between.
And it can be really hard for people to access care. So even in a metropolitan area like Billings, where there's lots of providers, there's not enough to go around.
Malcolm says there's also a stigma around talking about addiction.
There's that cowboy up mentality. And so the idea was you don't need to deal with those emotions. You just set them aside. So there's definitely that idea that we don't share that. We don't talk about that.
The hard question, What are we doing as a state to lower the risk? One answer is treatment centers.
Here at Healing Rock, we're here to battle that stigma. Like, we want to go toe to toe with the stigma of mental health and addiction and let people know that it's okay not to be okay.
Clinical supervisor Melissa Rasica at Healing Rock Recovery says there is help out there.
We create such a safe environment that they're able just to be real people here when they walk in those doors. They don't have to worry about the shame and the guilt and the stigma.
And she says that addiction is something so many people are scared to face.
There are so many people in America that struggle with addiction that are too afraid to talk about the struggle with addiction and mental health.
Centers like Healing Rock Recovery are helping people like Jeffrey Shelton face his fears.
It changed my life.
Jeffrey says he got a second chance at life because of the help he got.
This was the perfect place because they made it safe and they made it comfortable. The empowerment, the self-worth, everything that comes along with it is amazing.
In Billings, Hannah Pettiferry, MTN News.
Tonight, heartbreak in Meagher County. No criminal charges will be filed after the shooting death of a 16-year-old boy north of White Sulphur Springs. The sheriff says 3 teens were staying at a rural bunkhouse when one picked up a .22 caliber revolver thinking it was unloaded. The gun went off, killing his friend. The sheriff says everyone has cooperated and the victim's family asked the county attorney not to file charges, calling it a tragic accident.
We're getting that time of the season now where we get fewer pictures of fall foliage because most of that's fallen to the ground. But with the earlier sunsets, thanks very much for sharing this one, Jim, as we got some of those great fall colors in the mix for us today. If you have pictures to share, you can always use our free downloadable weather app, or you can just email them to us at weather@ktvq.com. Here's how it looks right now. This is a live shot around Billings with the Stockman Bank weather cam. Temperatures were just a few degrees above the seasonal averages. Notice sunset now happening just a little before 5 p.m. Sunrise just a little before 7. Winds were a lot lighter across the region for today, and temperatures statewide were in the 40s and 50s.
Say goodbye to the penny, at least at some McDonald's locations. The fast food giant is now rounding cash transactions to the nearest nickel as the nation grapples with a penny shortage. It may only be a few cents, but it's sparking a bigger conversation about whether America's smallest coin has run its course. Our Isabel Sparts checked in with customers to see what they think.
It's usually good luck when you find a penny on the ground, but nowadays you might be luckier finding a nickel. Many companies like McDonald's are changing their policies around change.
It's a sign of the times.
They're heavy in my purse, and the older I get, the less I want to carry them around.
McDonald's is the latest to round to the nearest nickel for cash transactions if a customer doesn't have exact change. But for Billings customers like Vicki Burford, it's not a concern.
Pay with a card most places I go, and you round up for a tip or you round up for a charity.
Lynn Onvik agrees.
I'm probably sorry to say I use my debit card for everything.
McDonald's says some national chain locations will implement the change. It's all to tackle penny shortages.
12 50-cent pieces, you hardly ever see them anymore, or even $1. Pennies is going to be one of the last ones, I suppose.
Kevin Gunther with Stockman Bank says it's all part of a growing number of businesses doing so.
I think that's what's going to happen, right? I think you're going to see that across the industries. It just makes sense.
Literally. Back in May, the U.S. Treasury Department announced it would phase out the production of new pennies by next year.
Pennies are still around. You can still use them, but it's probably high time considering it costs 2.5 to 3 cents to make them.
And it has rippled to consumers' pockets.
You certainly have noticed over the last month or so heightened sensitivity in our customers about the penny, about wanting the penny. Our Helena branch of the Fed came out and said, end of this week, we're not shipping pennies anymore.
Leaving some shortchanged, and as they aren't going away just yet, it might not be long.
As we move towards faster, more modern ways to exchange value, right? Currency value. I think, it was just a natural step.
You know, it's just history, I guess. It's just another chapter that's just money. Coins is just fading out.
In Billings, Isabel Sparts, MTN News.